Today on Surf Studio, we are so excited to have with us today, all the way from Fremantle, it's Matt Elliot and Mike Shaw. Welcome to the program, gents.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, thank you.
Now, we've brought you along today to tell us about this amazing multicultural program that you've developed. How did this all get started?
Well, it was a friend of mine that I was speaking to, and she was involved in a Fremantle Multicultural Centre, where it was introducing families into the community that had come through immigration. And she was saying that a lot of them didn't know much about the beach. The language wasn't too strong. So we started off with families coming down to do this beach awareness program, and then it grew from there.
So you've both been involved in the club since 2008. This is such a revolutionary program that you've put together.
Well, we didn't start out by devising this program. It was an opportunity that was given to us, and we've allowed it to grow, and it's grown its own natural pathway. As Matt said, we started with the Multicultural Centre for a couple of years, and then we branched out and went over to a couple of the schools that have intensive English class units attached to them. And I guess where the program has taken us, rather than starting with the adults and the parents, we're now dealing more with the kids. And the idea is that the kids are very amenable to learning, and it would be fantastic if the kids could take their knowledge home, teach the parents, and all of a sudden everyone starts being safer on the beach.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the program. It's classroom and beach skills, is that right?
Yeah, so we started off with just doing beach awareness down at Leighton Beach. So we'd spend an hour or so with all the students to go through the surf club, showcasing some of the equipment that we have, and then we'd go down to the beach, show what a normal patrol looks like, the setup, the flags, telling them about swimming between the flags. It's quite hard because a lot of them don't speak English too well, and some have interpreters there to help us. And then that's just grown, where Mike's then put into a program in going to schools.
There was an awful lot of stuff we didn't cover when we were down on the beach, and so what we've done is we've taken that into the classroom. We've used that as a preparatory session to give them an idea of how to be sun safe, what do waves look like, what do rips look like, some of the dangerous critters in the ocean and so on. And we use that as a basis that when they then come down to the beach, some of the blocks start to fall in place a little bit better.
The program's been running for a little while now. Is this where you hoped that it would go, or the change that you were hoping to see in your local community?
I think it grows on its own, like Mike was saying. We implemented getting school children from local schools to help out in doing these programs. We found out that the students were more interacting with like-minded aged group members of the surf club. So we would ask members of the surf club that went to CBC or Iona schools to join. And some of the things that they got out of it was amazing. You know, they would go and interact with these students that have come all the way from another country through the immigration system, and hear stories of what they had to do, how they had to get here. And then they would come back and be absolutely amazed.
Yeah. There's learning on both sides. You know, the recent immigrant kids learn a little bit of surf skills. And as Matt said, it's just amazing to watch these young kids who start out being too timid to put a toe in the water, to then standing in ankle deep water, to standing in knee deep water, and all of a sudden Matt's got them on rescue boards and they're catching waves back in. So, and the smiles are a foot wide.
You know, we've talked about the smiles, we've talked about the differences that you're making in the community. Is there any particular moment or experience that really stands out to you that makes you really proud to be involved in a program like this?
Well, there's one that I remember from a few years ago. We had a school visit that was broken into two halves. One half came down in the morning, stayed for lunch, and then the other half came down after lunch. And one of the young kids who came from Iran did the morning session. He had never seen the ocean before, had practiced swimming in a pool, so he was quite a competent swimmer. But he hid in the change rooms through the lunch period and then waited for the second group to arrive so that he could come out and do it all again in the afternoon.
Yeah. My experience of that one was a very good one. There's many. I mean, the smiles you get, but there was it's the girls that have never been able to be down the beach. You know, you go up to them and say, "Would you like to be going to go into the water?" They sort of go, "Oh, I don't know." They start putting their feet in there. They start getting a bit wet. Next thing they know, they're fully covered, and you can't take them out. The hardest thing is having to blow the whistle and saying, "That's it, guys. You've got to get out of the water," and they just don't want to get out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you were to look 5 years into the future, how do you see the program growing, or what are your dreams for what it could turn into?
There is all these immigration areas or schools that have got children that have come over and learning the English language all around Australia. So, you know, whether it's on the beach, surf clubs picking up the program, a similar program, or even if it's a community inland, they do it near the river or creeks. And it just expands around Australia. It's a very simple, easy program that benefits not just these kids, but also the surf lifesavers as well that's involved. So seeing that grow, I don't think is going to be too hard to do. And then being able to get these children just to learn about the beach, to see these kids go into the water for the first time is amazing. It's the biggest smile I've ever seen.
So just in Perth, we're currently dealing with 2 schools. We've had interest from a 3rd school. And currently there are about another 5 schools that have these units attached that we could branch it out to. So we've got a lot of scope to just increase it within our little area here, let alone, as Matt says, moving further afield.
I love it. It's so fantastic to hear. And I understand that congratulations are in order as well. The program recently took out Surf WA's Community Program of the Year. You must be chuffed to get that sort of recognition as well.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't do that for those accolades. It's great to be acknowledged. We'd just like to see this program grow over time. We've had a few surf clubs locally asking about the program. And look, if it could roll out Australia-wide and help out this sort of community, it'd be fantastic.
And the other side is we've had a couple of nibbles of interest from corporates who see what we're doing and say, this is something that we would love to support. How can we help you out? So whilst money is always useful, it's not necessarily money that we need, but we continue to look for ways to develop and improve the program. If we can get some additional equipment and offer some naming rights, then I think everyone gets a win-win.
You must love being members of Freo, and obviously you'd have the whole club behind this. It must be such a beautiful thing that you can offer to all the other clubbies as well. Yeah,
look, we're a very family-orientated club. We're quite competitive, but we're more family-orientated. It's a nice place to be, like any surf club. You know, you can go anywhere in the world or anywhere in Australia and to any surf club. They're always very friendly places. But yeah, it's really good to bring in some of the younger kids, be involved in these particular awareness programs, and they're using that to put on their resumes. They're getting so much out of it that they experience something that is for their life. So
and the other thing about Leighton Beach is it's a very benign environment. We have quite chuckles in WA about Leighton surf. It's a very easy place to bring the kids down. They're not going to get smashed by waves. They're not going to get sucked out by rips. So everybody feels very safe.
It feels like the perfect program at the perfect beach for the perfect community.
Yeah,
that's it.
You've nailed it.
Matt and Mike, thank you so much for joining us here today on Surf Studio. It has been such a delight hearing about this program at Fremantle. We wish you all the best for the summer season and just can't wait to see what you do next.
Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate your interest.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching Surf Studio. We would encourage you to get in touch with us to send through ideas or stories for future episodes. Contact the team via our social media channels or email us at surfstudio@slsa.asn.au.